obviously dropped through a crevice.
No, it's phenomenal.
Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to the Berardi and Cook Show, coming live to you on a Monday evening, the Monday shift, the therapy session. I'm joined this evening by the wonderful little midget with a ponytail here, the man bun from Bradford. I am joined also from the man from Hull. Or how do we say it now, Johnny? Is it Hull?
Hull.
He's tapped into Sheila's Wi-Fi next door. He's ready to go. It's nice to see. It's nice to see Bryn. His missus has let his out from under Thumb Cave. It's nice to have you here as an alt. Are you all well?
It's good to see him. It is good to see him. He's been absent.
He's not been bloody absent. He's right pod whore at the minute. He's making a bit of a name for himself. Let's run an introduction and we shall crack on.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Leeds are shit. We're recording, you know.
Oh, shit.
We had a good start. I don't think we've got the personnel.
You can fucking laugh all you want, you absolute felon.
I think about things, that's why you lot are idiots.
A melted version of a dick that's been shrink wrapped.
The absolute elite shithousery of this.
Cow on that.
Jez still looks quite dishevelled and homeless, even now, with his little mini iron behind him.
How dare you?
You hate those clips, you don't you? Please, Gilly, will you change
Really badly,
the
yeah.
next introduction, please?
I've never asked that. I've just said I look like a
Sat
school
there with
shooter.
your
I don't
anorak
like
on.
it.
Wow.
Did me dirty there, you guys.
Starting well. I had nothing to do with that, to be fair. That's nothing on me. I am not one of those technical sort of people, so you can't blame me on that one. That's not your field, actually. Gents, we are convening on a Monday evening because none of us could bear the thought of talking about that horrible performance down at Fratton Park yesterday on a Sunday. We didn't want it to ruin our weekends, although it did. Nice and early as well. Good job for it, eh? On a nice Sunday afternoon. We shall go round the table and get your thoughts. Everyone, get your comments in the interactions, etc. Let's feel the pain. Let's get some hate going in the comments.
Let's do it.
Gents, I'm going to come to you, Bryn, first. What were your thoughts going into the game? Were you confident we were going to get a result down there, even though obviously we've had a little bit of pre-check before we've come live, but give us your thoughts about what you were expecting to get from Fratton Park yesterday afternoon.
A reaction really from I thought was pretty poor performance against West Brom. Thought, we'll make a couple of changes. Maybe the Gruev over Rothwell debate was going to re-emerge we know what Farke's preferences away from home, and then everything else really was just a case of, turn up and put these to the sword. Another on good home form, taking points off other teams at home, but, well, there we go. And we've become the latest notch on Pompey's belt.
Yes, we have. Were you slightly confident, Jay, going into this? I mean, I have all of your predictions right in front of me, by the way, so you can't tell lies. You shall not tell lies. I know exactly what you predicted. So, honesty, it's an honesty box, I suppose. It's an honest pod. Jay, what were your thoughts going into this game? We'll get into the game, obviously. I just want to know everyone's thoughts, how confident you were, etc., before we went down there.
I had a bit of a weird feeling on the day of the game. I thought, oh, God, I hope we don't do anything stupid. But, going into it, I thought we should win the game. We're on great form. We've had that little blip against West Brom. We'll bounce back. But we didn't. But, I don't know. I expected a win. I just didn't expect us to labour as hard as we did for nothing. We should have won that game, even though it were crap. We had the chances. We just did not take them.
Our best number 9 wasn't fit and firing, was he? Old Junior Firpo.
It wasn't.
Johnny, what were your thoughts before we went down to Fratton Park? You predicted steady 3-1.
Yeah, I was quite confident, me, personally. And I thought, these are type of teams should be beaten. You know what I mean? It's like, but fucking Leeds thing, innit? Every time.
Yeah. You should never... I went at lads this morning saying, oh, bloody hell, your lads let me down yesterday. And I went, I don't know how many times you want me to tell you this. You should never, ever bet on Leeds United. You will be gravely, gravely let down. Bryn, you've obviously said, I don't know when the last time we won down there. Did you say it was the 80s or something?
I think we beat an FA Cup in 99. I think it was 84, 86 last Tournament League.
Christ.
And that includes a 6
mad,
months in between.
I mean, I expected a bit of a better performance. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect that many bad performances specifically from you relatively, I don't know, experienced players. I mean, Tanaka for one, Christ on a bike, he had a bit of a shocker, didn't he? But we'll get a bit more into that in a little bit. But yeah, I was expecting a lot better from the lads. I know that it's a tough place to go. I predicted 1-0 before the game. I didn't think it'd be an easy win, but I expected some sort of bounce back from West Brom. Now, I never thought that West Brom was a bad performance. I think we could have done better. I'd take a point against West Brom all day. I'm sure everyone else would. But to not really turn up down there, they just looked like they wanted it a little bit more, Jay, would you say?
I think so. They didn't look kind of amazing or anything like for large parts of the game, but they were in control of it. That was the worrying thing. They weren't kind of ruffled really. They were patient. They attacked us when they got the chances. They defended pretty well. I'm not happy with the ref in any way, but we'll discuss that at some point, I'm sure. Portsmouth,
discuss it now, mate. Crack on.
Right. Portsmouth did what they set out to do, I think. They probably hoped for a point and maybe a win if they got really lucky. But it were their day. It was not ours. But that guy, the bastard in the black, he let us down big time. I mean, Dan James, he got booted to fuck in the penalty area. He got absolutely swiped. That should have been a penalty.
I mean, it was Stonewaller, wasn't it? Stonewaller.
Yeah. And what do we have to do to actually get a penalty? Because we've seen players not go down and we've said he should have gone down. Well, when they get taken out right in front of the ref, they're still not fucking interested.
No.
What are we supposed to do? It starts to look more and more like a stitch-up the more games we have with refs like this. Up until about maybe a couple of weeks ago, I were putting it down to the refs are just shit at this level. But it's starting to feel really twisted right now. We're getting 11 a.m. kickoffs, 12 p.m. kickoffs on a Sunday. As games are getting moved, other people's games are not getting moved in the volume that ours are. We're getting difficult games at shit times where the away fans have to kill themselves to get there. And it's just, it's fucking balls. It's a piss take. They know that they can do it, so they do. And the players, you can say, they should be pros, they should be up for it, blah, blah, blah. We shouldn't be having to play after everyone all the time. We shouldn't be having to play at stupid times. We shouldn't be having our whole game disrupted because the atmosphere is different. Everything feels different at that kind of time. It's not the same. And it's happening to us week in, week out now. And I'm getting really sick of it. Why can't we just have the same schedule everyone else has got?
Because Leeds United are a cash cow. And they're pulling
rather
large. They're pulling large views, and they don't care about the match going fan, don't Sky? They care about how many views and how much money they can generate off the back of it, and that's it really. At the end of the day, you can dress it up and roll it in glitter as much as you want, but. Bryn, have you noticed that the atmospheres have been a little bit turgid of late? I mean, say what you want about obviously the away game down there and stuff. Do you think that these performances are leaving fans a little bit on edge?
I think the fans' performances. It's getting worse, and it has been on a steady decline for the past 3 years. Apart from Leicester last season, Ipswich last season, Sheffield United at home earlier this season. Okay, you've got the cowbell, that half-dressed moron in their cop, and you've got their drummer going at it. But
I was going to say, I thought they would have frigging heard a cattle coming on the pitch at one point. I didn't know about the bells. I'll be honest. I'm like, what the frigging hell is this? I thought there were a farmer next door or something.
One of the most irritating things I've ever heard.
Nicholas.
Why they're chuffing vuvuzelas in South African bloody World Cup? It probably worse than that, to be fair. But carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think overall, again, our fans, I know there's the excuse of, they've been up crack of dawn, or some have gone down Saturday night, the night in Portsmouth, but there was no, the fans weren't really, I think maybe they were a bit shell-shocked with maybe the Dan James penalty not giving after 10, 15 minutes, then Joel Pereira doing his best Patrick Bamford impression, not once but twice, and it was very, very frustrating just... And sometimes the players have to give the fans something. And a lot of them on Saturday. Well, you mentioned Tanaka, he was one. I thought Strauch, the mind boggles how him and Millie are vice captains. I just can't possibly fathom how those two are leaders among men on that pitch when you've got Joe Roda wants to probably throttle a pair of them.
We've talked about the whole captaincy thing, and it's probably down to the fact that Joe Rodon, when obviously these captaincies were getting handed out last season, he was a lone player and wasn't part of the fabric of the team, etc. And to be fair, is Joe Rodon a captain? Is he that vocal? We don't know, do we? I mean, you can tell that we're missing Ampadu. I think that's obvious, but. When you look at the stats, I mean, our XG, is clearly a lot higher than theirs. However, when you look at the momentum graphs and stuff like that, they were well worth. If you look at it, they were well worth the win. Do you think they were worth the win, Johnny, or do you think we should have got more out of it, barring the obviously balloon shots from Pirot, etc.?
Chances wise, we should have wiped the floor of them, but I just thought the outbattled us. I just thought there was up for it more. I think it's. Like I said, these early kickoffs, like the scheduling, what they have to do, like having to have a proper meal at like 8 o'clock in the morning and things like that. Shit like that can throw them out. I mean, they would have gone down the night before, wouldn't they? One was if they were like travelling early doors, but yeah, I think their team really up for it. It was just like what reminded me. It reminded me of Millwall away when we got beat. They was like really up for it, but then we still had chances in that game to win that one as well. And it's just. If it had been a normal day, like I would listen to Sparkers after the match, and he said if it was a normal day, it would have been 2 or 3. If it had been an exceptional day, it would have been 5 or 6, which it should have been. You can't the chances. There was all there. There was all, and there weren't hard chances. There was 1-on-1s. You know what I mean?
That chance of Furpose you'd have expected. You'd have expected to do a little bit better one. Yeah, my heart stopped at when that keeper made that double save. I couldn't frigging believe it.
I was shocked at Pirot, mate. Just whose boots did he have on? Because those chances that fell to him, he's exactly the man you want on the end of them.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want anyone else in the team on him, and he does that twice. I mean, the first one I can forgive because it were quick and he just had to boot it goalwards, and you couldn't do a right lot about that one. The second one's unforgivable. He should have been putting that away every day.
I think he thought he was offside on that first one as well.
Yeah, I think he might have snatched it a little bit. Yeah, I think what you said, Jay, about the kick-off times and stuff that are rearranged because of Leeds. I think that does have something to do, for the fans, but really for the team. Can you really use that as an excuse for the team? I mean, they'll have been well rested. They'll have travelled the day before. They'll have had a nice leisurely morning. They'll have been, getting the little rub downs or whatever it is. They're not exactly, waking up at Sparrowfart like the fans are and having to travel, 400 or 500 miles.
No, and I get what you're saying, but the fans, they feed off the energy of the fans. The Leeds away ends are always legendary, and if the fans are not as up for it, then that can filter to the team.
Or is it the other way around? And that's where we're kind of going. We see it time and time again at Elland Road. If you see that the team aren't performing and aren't fighting for it, because let's be honest, it did look like they weren't really giving it 100%. There were quite a few bad performances, but on a whole, we were second to most. Balls as passing were pretty naff.
Yeah,
we were good in areas and stuff like that. But the Portsmouth lads really did take it to us. And to be honest, if you look at the 4 games that we've lost now this season, there is a little bit of a pattern to it. And I don't know whether you think, I don't know, Bryn, maybe you'd like to talk about this a little bit, but do you see any sort of patterns? Is being aggressive with Leeds United the way to beat them, or is it just the fact that we were our best on the day that the reason that we lost?
Well, the patterns, the Millwall away result, and yes, it was basically screamed of, and a bit like what West Brom did at Elland Road, you exploit the space given to you by 2 fullbacks that are brilliant at going forward, but are prone to either ball watch or not track the runners back. Firpo did it a couple of times in the second half. I think he tried to give the ball in. I think he gave the ball to Tanaka and he ended up hitting their man. And on the counter, he's walking back after doing a misplaced pass. I think, well, if that was me, I'd be straight away trying to rectify it. But he was walking back and then Strout comes out of position to make the tackle, and straight away I thought, well, and he does creep into it. He had that. He did the exact same thing at Portsmouth, Blackburn away. And that Dolan had him on toast all game. And Murphy and Ritchie again. as good as assets of Bogle and Furpar going forward in games like that, when you're against a high competitive team that are prepared to shit out and put the foot in and exploit space and happily counter-attack at home, they can become passengers, and they were passengers at Millwall, at Blackburn, and yesterday.
The signs were there relatively early on, weren't they, for them? I mean, they did have a lot of possession, and they did attack our wings, especially down the left, where Bogle left a nice little hole that Rodon were constantly having to come across and defend. It were only a matter of time, really. That in that second half they were really going for it, and it would, like I say, that one ball over the top. Do you guys think that, let's talk about their goal a little bit, Johnny? How has that happened? Is it a lack of communication? Are they not concentrating? Is it just a momentary lack of concentration? How have they managed to do that? Because it just looked a bit calamitous to me.
Yeah, they were doing that ball quite a lot, weren't they? Like into the channel between the right back and the centre back. I'm gonna piss Momo off here a bit, but Rodon was as much as fault than Meslier was. So he sort of stopped, but then Mes, he came out and stopped, then came back out. But just bad communication between both of them. Meslier just basically came out, just wiped everything out, just clear the ball, get out. But I think, Rodon, he was expecting Mes to come out. What I can remember.
Yeah.
That's what, and so then he sort of stops, but then in the other sense, for Stroke, he seems to stopping it. Normally, the other centre back would run towards the goal, wouldn't they? To get anything, if it gets by the keeper, somebody's clear off the line. But even he didn't do that; he just stopped as well. So I think there's a bit of a calamitous, all three of them personally.
What do you think, Jay? Should Mes come out and clean them both out?
Possibly so. I think when you look at, like Johnny was saying, the fact that Meslier he went to come, then stopped, then he came again, that says to me that neither of them made a call.
Yeah.
Somebody should have made a call.
Too indecisive.
Yeah. Somebody should have put the name on that and said mine, and no one did. And that's what happens.
I mean, you can see it in Rodon's face, can't you, Bryn? That, he gave him a bit of a bollock, and they were like, to be fair, I mean, Rodon should have done better, but at the end of the day, Meslier had all the time in the world to come and collect that ball, but because he stalled and did the old Meslier wobble, and just hesitated. He does it, doesn't he? He's done it a few times this season, and they've scored.
Like a wacky wave and inflatable arm, man.
He goes, oh, and then stopped, and then came again. And obviously, at that point, Rodon had backed off. What do you think? Who's going to get a bigger bollocking out of that? If you're Farke, Bryn, who's getting a bigger bollocking out of that situation? Are you bollocking Mes? Are you bollocking Rodon for that?
Before I say anything, I will say, and I put it in the group, that I was praising Meslier, and I thought, I won't go over TT because anything could happen with this idiot in goal. And it did. Ultimately, it's a ball over the top. He's against the defender. He comes out, he does his scary feet thing, pivots, goes back, forward, and makes a decision. A proper sweeping keeper that he's meant to be comes, takes the ball, takes the man, he does something. And then when Bishop gets the ball first, unlike what their frigging Lev Yashin bloody ghost in their goal, stands the man up, forces him wide and narrows the angle, then makes, like Solomon for Peru, Solomon had to cut it back. Bishop, if he's forced wide there by the goalkeeper, he's got no one in sight. He's either defying physics by breaking the net or something else, or he has to hold up and wait for support. But once again, Ilya Mellier's decision-making has yet again cost Leeds United a goal.
Yeah.
Again, you can argue maybe Rodon could have done better, but ultimately it's a ball over the top. He has got a head start, and you've got to be able to trust your goalkeeper. And looking at the amount of times it's cost us this season and Rodon's reaction every single time he has cost us a goal, we can't rely on that goalkeeper. But
no,
I don't know. Again, I don't know what to say about him anymore.
It is a shame. It is a shame because he was having a really good game, and again afterwards, he pulled off some cracking saves. It's just this decision making thing, man. It's just a constant mistake. He's always got a mistake in him, and it doesn't seem to be able to shake him. Ian Ward has said that for him, the man ran off the back of Rodon, who was ball watching. Meslier should have come out quicker, but there was plenty of time to get back into it. I agree. I think at some point one of them has got to make a decision. Somebody's getting taken out of here. Rodon could have done it. I mean, he outpaces many strikers. He's fairly fast for his size. But for me, Meslier should have come and taken it as well. So they're probably, like you say, they're probably equally to blame. But it's a silly mistake, and it's kind of it should have been a nothing. It should have been a nothing scenario. And yet again, we found ourselves 1-0 down after we should have been 1-0 up because for the penalty. Granted, you have to score the penalty. But, the amount of shots that we squandered and stuff, you just knew early on that it was not their day. Or not our day.
No.
They were starting
what?
Hold on, let Jonny speak a sec.
Yeah.
So they were starting to cause us problems about 10 minutes before that. You could just feel it. Something's going to happen here. Someone's going to come here. Just sense it. You know what I mean? It's just like misplaced passing. I think that was the worst I've seen us pass all season. Like, nothing.
Someone's popular. How long are you on that, fellow? I need my feet massaging. Hurry up.
He's watching Australian Love Island.
Fetch that cricket bat.
She put it on record. She put it on record for you, Bryn, has she? So you can catch up with
She's been hitting him. She's been hitting him with cricket bat, Smarty. We were talking about this before we came on.
She hit me around my head with that cricket bat. It's snapping twine, and then I won't be saving.
It's not your head she's been hitting, Bryn. We know what you like.
It takes something to snap something over the back of that head.
Very kinky.
Anyway, I was gonna say, if I were Farke, I'd be making Meslier and Rodon rerun that in drills for a whole fucking morning. I'd be like, you lads can do this all day till you learn to get it right. I'd be fuming if I were manager. I'm fuming as a fan, so if I had the power to punish the fuckers, I would.
I mean, we're all disappointed, aren't we? But for all his faults, Meslier, in those sort of one-on-one situations, he does usually come out on top.
Yeah,
he's
he did
good
a great
in a
one
one-on-one situation.
The other game against Sheffield United. Or it's Sunderland.
There's been a few. I can't remember specifically.
The standout one, he had a brilliant one against Middlesbrough at Ellen Road, but again,
he did.
He's got a habit of even then though, like his indecision on his line, like the Burnley goal at Ellen Road, where he basically moonwalking to his front post. Like, yeah, there you go. There's a far post. Put it in, son, and they do. And it's like,
the best goal against
he just doesn't cover himself in glory enough. He's now nearly played 200 games for Leeds United, and yesterday just reminded me of Casilla and Cooper again, of that thing against Derby, and sadly it were Rodon and Meslier just can't seem to get along on pitch, and I'm not really surprised.
Rodon must be sick of bollocking him.
Yeah, but you can't bollock him when they're equally to blame. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if Ampadu's there, they're probably both getting an absolute reaming. Let's be honest, because we've already decided they're both probably as equally to blame as each other. But it's these games. But how do you feel, lads, going into Wednesday? I mean, obviously we're not going to have are we having a main pod tomorrow, Jay? Probably. So
I imagine so.
We're not going to go too much into this, but I just want to get your thoughts on, does it affect the team Wednesday? Does it make them, more up for it? Does it give them a little bit of a shot in the arse to try and improve and to try and make up for it on Wednesday?
I think Millwall will get the arse end of this tomorrow on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll absolutely slap them, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Hey,
they'll. Go on, sorry.
Positive Jay, come on.
Oh, fucking hell. They'll be relishing an opportunity to heap more misery on us, them fuckers. They will absolutely come to frustrate us and try and nick a goal. We've got to react. We've got to, because if we don't react, then we're in a slump. Whereas if we do react, it's a blip and we move on. That's the worry here. I tell you, right, after that fucking playoff final, I'm swearing a lot tonight because I'm that wound up. But after that playoff final, I was just like, I can't. I'm not interested in football anymore. I can't watch it. I can't go through another season of it. I can't enjoy another championship season knowing that we shouldn't be in it again. And then they got me again. I'm on fucking hype train. We're going up as fucking champions. I'm loving it. I'm buying shirts again. And
then they left you late.
And then, hey, get fucked. And then they start doing this shit again. And and if they blow it from here, I'll never forgive them. And I'm going to end up like that guy in is it Billy Madison or is it Big Daddy, where he's like putting his lipstick on and then he's drawing his fucking list of people that he needs to kill. I'm going to end up broken like him. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to have a list, and it's going to be people from Leeds United on it, and maybe a couple of you.
You don't have a list. Have that list already.
You notice how none of us asked him any questions about his makeup either.
No, it's all part of it. You got to go full
standard.
balls deep, haven't you? If you're going to go psycho.
Standard Saturday night for Jay putting his lipstick on.
To be fair, what he does with that little rat tail thing as well.
Got his hair curler in. Look, just one curler. There's only about.
He just stepped out of a salon.
It doesn't even look like it's grown anything. I mean, I don't mean your hair. I mean, honestly.
Just
Bryn, what are you thinking about Millwall then? Honestly, do you think we're going to get a reaction from the lads, or like you said, are they going to come and shit houses? I mean, last time we played him, they were under Harris, were they? I believe.
No, it was Alex Neil in the FA Cup and Harris.
Yes, of course it was. Yes,
Alex Neil in the Cup, and they sacked but one Neil Harris in charge for the league game. So yeah, they've had 2 matches here, both got a win over Leeds. So, but it all depends on which Leeds United turns up. If we see something that the fans can get behind in the first 15-20 minutes and get the goal in that period, if not, it is going to be a slog, and I can easily see a 1-0 Millwall or a 1-1. If we are not on it from minute 1 to minute 20 tomorrow, because that's when we'll know what Leeds United turns up, really. That's all that matters. Well, maybe they've got their justice for their goalkeeper singing his name in first 8 to 10 minutes. We need to be above them and just on them and non-stop and just be ferocious, like we have done in some games, and we have bounced back. But
yeah, we need to
yesterday was just a blip, especially with the chances we created. It doesn't feel quite as bad as last season yet, where we were just getting overrun and not creating any chances. So hopefully, the players have still got it in the locker to, man up and crack on.
I think Wednesday's going to be a really tough game. I really do, because I think there's going to be. I mean, it's a shit time. It's Wednesday evening. There's going to be some apprehension in the crowd. I think. At Ellen Road, we've seen it many, many times. I mean, I'm sure you can hear it from where you're sat, Jay, and from where you're sat, Bryn.
Yeah.
But certainly from where I am in the South Stand, there's an air of apprehension and people are quite anxious. And unless we're 2-0 up relatively early on, there's an eerie silence a lot of the time in certain pockets around Ellen Road. And I think based on these two performances and these two results, I think it'll be pretty much the same. Now, I'm not one that's thrown myself under a bus just yet. I'm still quietly positive. I think it's just a blip. It might, we've seen it a few times this year. That this season, should I say that we haven't really performed to our greatest, but we've always seemed to have bounced back pretty much straight away. So hopefully this is a good opportunity, given it's only 3 days after we've played Portsmouth away. It's a good opportunity for us to turn the result around, or turn momentum around back in our favour, should I say, because we should have a relatively decent run after the international break, which is something else that I think is probably well timed, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think it's up to us though, as fans, though, isn't it? I think it's up to us to get the players going.
Absolutely, yeah.
Keep the atmosphere, like I said, the atmosphere being shite.
Do you know what though, Johnny?
Bad jeopardy, we haven't got no jeopardy games. You know what I mean?
It's not that. It's not that. It's a mix of that, but then other games, it's like people are so fraught because they're terrified of us going behind and slipping that they daren't sing because they're too focused and they're like nervously watching what's going on. Like, oh shit, oh god, and you never feel safe, do you? Even at 1-0, you think we need another.
I found going to games this year more than any of them. Then I'm going to win that today. And when you can't, I know I'm in the East End anyway, so it's not the best place. But it's just when it's fucking get the crowd off. You know what I mean? Players thrive off shit like that. It's right, we're doing it. We had a better atmosphere was getting relegated in the Premier League.
Fucking hell, no. That's because we'd all given up and just decided to have a.
The atmosphere was fucking brilliant.
It could go the other way though. It could be what Smarty says, or it could be that everyone's like, "Come on, Leeds, fucking come on!" It could go the other way. We'll
I
see.
think, when we are behind our team, there's an atmosphere. There ain't an atmosphere like it. There's stuff that's close or whatever. But when you're in the thick of it at Ellen Road and it's bouncing, there is no place like it. It's animalistic. It's raw.
100%.
It's really really passionate, etc. And we've just really. We haven't really seen that much at all. We saw it against Sunderland, but my concern is that for the last few games we've gone behind. Yeah, we had some superstar performances versus Sunderland and Sheffield United, etc. But we seem to be, I don't know. West Brom were a bit of an anomaly because we scored early and then seemed to take our foot off the gas or whatever, and then it kind of went off the boil a little bit. I think it took everyone by surprise that West Brom didn't just turn over and wait for the bellies to be scratched or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I just think we need a reaction. Bryn, let's talk about Daniel Farke. What are your thoughts about Farke after the game? Do you think he may or should have made some substitutions earlier? I mean, we say it a lot, but do you think it had the substitutions he made was too little, too late?
Again, we were creating opportunities, though, even at 1-0. You had the Junior Firpo going off the crossbar. And you knew the second that Dan James missed that follow-up, it was done. To be honest with Farke, I was very, very concerned with him around the Christmas period. I said we don't pick up 4 to 6 points at Stoke and Derby, I'd have happily seen him walk because I was getting a big sense of deja vu. But since the start of this calendar year and how the midfield generally has played, and there's a bit more fight this season. I don't think we're relying on individuals as much, but at the same time, I do think that I think one reason why a lot of Leeds fans are so nervous is because we have got a goalkeeper that every single man, woman, and child that steps into that stadium knows at any given time he'll cost Leeds United a goal, points, whatever. And unfortunately, again, I doubt Burnley think that of James Trafford, and I doubt Sheffield United think that of their Cooper, their goalkeeper. But ultimately, I don't want to put it all on Elon Elliott. It's harsh, but ultimately his mistakes are the reason why we are not at least a dozen points further away from Sheffield United and Burnley than we are. And if that's harsh and whatever, so be it. But it just is what it is. And I don't know if it's maybe the manager maybe not showing maybe the mettle not to drop him after Sunderland and give him another chance, but it's just deja vu. It just reeks of deja vu.
I mean, he's pretty pap. He's Meslier. Let's be honest. We hopefully if we do get to the Premier League, we certainly need to make his position one of the first ones that we fill with someone else. Let's be honest. I don't know if there's that many people out there who disagree with that. But it is what it is for now. And we're always going to be the case in January. We're never going to replace him, and we just got to stick by him. But like you say, on another day when our front four are performing better and they score, the whole Meslier, the chaos and the calamities are always forgotten. But it's always the ones that stick in your mind. Your Sunderlands, your Hulls, etc. It's always those calamities that it just cost us so much. And, to have that little bit of a cushion over Sheffield United has now been completely obliterated in the matter of 2 games. All these people that were singing Champions Again, ole, ole. I said it here on this podcast. I said, please, for the love of fucking God, do not sing that. This is Leeds United. Jesus Christ. If there's one song you don't want to be starting to sing, it's something like that. Because we will Leeds United everything and we will end up, back in the shit bucket like we found ourselves. I still think we'll be fine. However, ask me in a couple of weeks, and we'll see.
That goal difference of ours is like the last cable tie hanging in the bumper onto your fucking saxo.
It's a bloody thick cable tie, though. That it's a chuffing strong cable tie,
and it's falling to bits. That's the last cable tie. That fucking goal difference. It's hanging on. It's hanging on.
The goal difference is mega, isn't it? But really, it's only 1 point. It's
means
1 point,
if we go
and it's a massive, it's a huge GD, is that? And we could end up losing, and they could, and Sheffield United could draw at weekend, and then that's it, or even tomorrow on Wednesday. It's
absolute madness, though, to have a goal difference like that, and have not scored significantly more points than the other teams.
Yeah,
it's like we're bang a load in some games and do fuck all in others. It's frustrating as hell.
I think Arthur's right. You know, a lot of the blame has to be, put on other people's shoulders as well. At the end of the day, it's a team performance, and as a team, we didn't really perform well. And Portsmouth played very, very well. But you can guarantee that Portsmouth don't put out, performances like that every week. I mean, if they did, they'd be challenging for title themselves, or they'd be challenging for playoff places. But that's what Leeds United do to these teams. People do up the games, and I know, the opposition's fans are, of course, it's Leeds, you're talking shit, but they actually do. I mean, the stats are there. The stats are there. It's there for everyone to see. People up the games, against Leeds United. I mean, they're pretty much safe now. I think. I think they're pretty much done and dusted. But they'll probably lose on Wednesday.
Yeah, like everyone does after the players.
The Leeds effect, they'll be absolutely fucked. They'll be riding high, and all of a sudden they'll get a bump. And that's it.
They've got a really good on record for the minute, haven't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they've done well.
Yeah, they do. And I think it was always going to be a tough game, which is why I think, I was looking at everyone's predictions, thinking, we had a 3-0, a 2-0, a 3-1, and a 1-0 out of us four. And I think everyone's quietly confident. I think everyone expected that West Brom were just going to be a little bit of a humbling. I think I said it myself. I don't think it's what we wanted, but I think it's a result that we needed. I don't think losing down at Portsmouth's probably a result that we needed, but hopefully now it gives them, I don't know, calms the waters a little bit. Now we know what we need to do. We need to concentrate. We need to collect ourselves, collect our thoughts, get together as a squad and crack on. And like I say, we'll get these next 2 games out of the way, and then we've got an international break on the horizon, and hopefully, we can, after that, we can push on. But who knows? Who knows what situation we're going to be in come Sunday? So
we've just got to remember as well, though, they've got some tricky games coming up. I mean,
they all have.
They've got to play a fat twat, haven't they, twice?
And they've got to Burnley and Sheffield United have got to play each other as well.
Yeah, that's Easter Monday, that game.
Yeah, there's some
normally when we bottle it, it will be the championship. It'll be decided at Easter one way or another.
I think there'll be something will be decided one way or another on Easter weekend. Definitely, I think.
Agreed.
Yeah, something. For one team, something will be decided. Hopefully, it is.
Nigel Mitchell says, the worries we haven't looked up for the fight for the last few matches. Do we think other teams have worked out how to play against us?
Okay, it's a case of don't have to play against. We all know how we play against us. You put 10 men behind the ball, you frustrate Leeds in the centre, then you have players running to the wings. It just or get naturally wide. It just sadly we have got 2 fullbacks that are very, very good at going forward, but are suspect defensively. I know Carl loves the term ball watching bogle, but Firpo is equally to blame sometimes as a defensive side as well. West Brom proved it in the first few minutes in that game where Firpo massively out of position, ball crossed to the edge of the area and they just scuffed it wide. And then it was almost like since then we've kind of been riding this wave of, yes, we beat Sunderland, yes, we beat Sheffield United. We're at that stage 16, 17 games unbeaten. Now we have to reset and go again. And this loss might be great, and it has now reset expectations and hopefully gives these lot now a kick up the arse who performances were maybe slightly dwindling from a few of them. Especially, our Tanaka, again, I've not seen, even when he's on and off days, normally still one of the standout players on the pitch. But yesterday, wow, I've never seen him play as that.
That was the worst game to see that.
I don't think this is entirely fair. I think when you look at that game, had Pirro scored his chances, we win the game. Do you know what I mean? They didn't do anything else besides the goal. They didn't do anything. It wasn't like we went out there and we were complete shite. We created the chances. Individuals were shite. The system worked for the most part. We just didn't get over the line. It wasn't one of those games where you lose it and you think, fucking hell, we're in trouble here. We did nothing. We created nothing. We should have won that game. It's shit that we didn't, but we should have won it. Teams may have figured out little things that they can do, and Portsmouth, they found that the fault with Farke's system basically is that the fullbacks are so high up. It works when you're in possession, but when a team presses you and fucks your distribution when you're playing short, you're then bypassing these guys. They're not getting involved. Then teams are going over the top of them when they attack, and that is a failing in the system if you're not in control of the game. But that being said, for everything that Portsmouth put into it, and they've given everything that will have taken it out of them what they did to beat us. We were just not at our best, but we still created We're still
I
creative.
I don't think so. I think West Brom certainly played well. I don't think Portsmouth did anything out of the ordinary. I think they just played better than us. And sometimes you've just got to give credit to a good team. Because
we just weren't at our best.
If you look at the momentum graph, you can look at some of the XG or whatever if you want to be one of them sort of stat sort of people. But when you look at the momentum graph, it's pretty much, if not more in their favour. They were firmly camped in our half. They really did press us. And to be fair, most of the times that teams do that, we get the better of them because we kind of lower him in. We just outpass them, outplay them, and that's it. And it's the easiest way for us to score if a team tries to press us because we're normally better. However, on the day yesterday, we were not at the races, and they punished us. And they panicked, and you could see it was just completely disorganised. And when you throw in a referee not giving you, he must have been another fucking referee that's allergic to his frigging cards because it took forever for him to get a frigging card out. And then obviously you've got the absolute stone waller of a penalty against Dan James, which still blows my mind to this day. I don't know what he's seen. I can only assume that, when he went to blow his whistle, that one of the liners has gone, no, he cleared the ball. When he didn't clear the ball, Dan James has kicked the ball into his leg, and then that fucking idiot's gone straight through him and booted his bloody foot out at way. An absolute stonewaller. Again, in Premier League, that's a penalty. And then it's a completely different game.
He had a clear view of it as well. He was right in front of him. He could not have seen it.
When you look at the camera angle from that, when you look at the camera angle from where the referee is, though, Johnny, you can't see him boot. You see his leg swinging. You see the ball going that way. You can't, and obviously Dan James is on floor because Dan James is Dan James and throws himself on floor relatively, a fair amount, doesn't he? But from a different angle, it's a completely different story. So I could understand why he's gone to blow his whistle and then Lino's gone, oh no, he's cleared ball. You would do from that angle. But it's the same old fucking shit. And I've started swearing now as well.
It's every week.
These frigging referees. I mean, this dipstick had got not relegated, but given a week off for an absolute calamitous bloody effort in Premier League, and then he's chuffing refereeing a really important match for us. And it's just like, Jesus Christ.
I've said that before as well. Why do we get somebody that was shit last week in Premier League?
Yeah. Apparently, it's less pressure in the Championship and in the Football League. That's just how they define it.
It's so stupid.
Less pressure for a team that are pushing promotion.
Give the arsehole a week off. Don't put him in our league and inflict him on us. Do you know what I mean?
They'll be doing Derby Stoke in the week or something as punishment. So he'll be put on some other post odds now in the Football League.
Make them miss a week. If they have a shit 3 games in a row, then they get dropped. You know what I mean? Don't send them to us. Ruining big games and missing obvious decisions. I mean, that guy should have had contacts in if you couldn't tell what went on there.
He's always been like that with us, though. He's a fucking shit referee. We've had him a few times this year, I think. And he's
they're all shy, mate. It's rare we get a decent a decent ref. Decent performance.
I don't retain who's ref does. It's just gone after the game.
You don't retain a lot, my dear. I know we don't. Slide 2 2.0 says, did Farke go into that game hoping for 1 point, Bryn?
No, I think maybe we did pay Portsmouth a little bit of respect. They are good at home. They've proved that in transition, the pressure. Like I said, I was very impressed with Murphy and Ritchie, and they were both really good. Bishop was busy, not really aggressive, but when he came, took his chance. But again, as echoed, if Piru puts his 2 sitters away, we get the penalty. Third post scores his 1-on-1, scores his header. It's a different result. We've carved out a lot of chances. It's not like it's just the execution. A lot of times, sometimes under Farke, it's maybe the last 18 months, we've been guilty of that, not winning games and not taking our chances. And I completely agree with Nigel there. I don't think Strauch's captain material. No way.
I agree with that.
Yeah, you've got a strong leader and a man that leads by example in Ampadu. He doesn't get bullied. He doesn't get. There aren't many that get the better of him either. And when you've got a guy setting a good example like that, and leading from the front, like Ampadu does, it spurs the rest of the team. Proper bloke, yeah. And when you've got chuffing Tanaka, playing the way he does, and then Gruev, who's just chuffing, I don't know what it is with Gruev. I've really not been impressed with him these last few games.
His levels dropped significantly.
I don't know what it is with him, because he were relatively a competent midfielder. I didn't really like him next to Kamara in midfield. I thought he were way too negative, but I don't know. There's something not right there, and I think we need to start. I mean, we will probably start Rothwell against Millwall on Wednesday anyway, as we tend to see a Tanaka and Rothwell midfield at home. But yeah, Gruev isn't really doing it. He's not giving me the fizz at the moment, Gruev.
What we're really needing in that midfield on Saturday on Sunday was a Sean Gregan.
Oh God!
Do you reckon?
The entire game would have bypassed him.
Okay, now you can imagine how fucking slow he would have been there.
Players like that won't make it now in the Championship. It's moved on.
No.
I don't know. I back him in a race with Pascal Strauch. I really would.
Well, Strike's fucked now, and he's been hit by another ship in East Coast in sea.
So we're going to, when he retires and he's long gone, he'll be going to the National History Museum, because I swear.
I can't believe how bad he was, though. He was awful. He couldn't control the ball or anything. I don't know if it was a pitch or what, but like, same when Joseph, when he came on, he couldn't control it. Like, in mid-league, Chapman looked like fucking Maradona.
Lee the Lump Chapman. What a guy, though. What a guy.
Oh, yeah, it's quite possibly.
I'm going to... Go on. No, go on.
No, I was just going to say... We talk about not relying on individuals now in this system, but it showed you that when certain people do have shit games, it does still have a big effect on us.
Yeah.
Hero has really upset me because I've backed him all season. Really
it wasn't just him, though, to be fair, Jay.
Jay.
No, I know.
When we rely on individuals to bail us out, but one individual can't make up for 5 or 6 of them just not turning up.
That's true.
And it's rare. And you can't really do that when you've got your spine of your team. We were carrying one centre half, 2 midfielders. Sadly, Brendan Aronson wasn't in the game, and apart from the first 15,
we've not even mentioned Aronson. We don't have to now. Gilly's not here.
That's because he wasn't there, Warren.
When you've got the spine of the team not turning up, you've got no prep.
Last year we were allowed on the individuals. This year we haven't. I don't think. I think it's been more spread about. More of a balance side.
No, in general.
Yeah, but if the group on a whole isn't performing well, though, then you're in trouble, aren't you? Whereas last year we came a cropper if Somerville or Rutter were performing. This year, it's like I kind of hoped that Ramazani would have done something, that Nonto would have done something, but for me, too little, too late. Me, Farke should have made them substitutions much earlier than he did. But
didn't Ramazani have one where he got through right near the end? And he fluffed it.
Couldn't tell you.
I'm sure there were a bit where he were on edge at box and he did something.
So.
Fuck knows. Maybe
that game yesterday was always coming. That game was never going to go through the end of the season without a game.
No, it was bound to happen.
So it just got to get out of the way now, and then just go to wipe the floor at Millwall on Wednesday.
I bloody hope so.
What did you think of Solomon, Smarty? Because he had a few attempts and stuff, but it wasn't his best game either, was it?
No, I didn't think the whole front four covered himself in glory, really. I didn't think James did well. Penalty aside, I thought he was very average. I thought Solomon was. Aronson were non-existent. I'm starting to lose a bit of love for Aronson. He's...
Would you change him on Wednesday?
Would I change him on Wednesday? No, probably not.
Probably changed him ages ago.
I think I'd have a go with Willie. I reckon.
It's pointless. The thing for me is it's pointless changing things now at this stage in the season.
Yeah, it's worked all year.
As much as people are expecting a reaction from maybe Farke with his starting lineup and stuff, I don't think making drastic changes to the starting 11 is the way forward at this point in time. Because Aronson does do some good things. I'm not going to say that he's the best number 10 in the world, blah, 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 because he's not. But his energy, we would definitely miss that energy if we don't see it. And I think, the problem with Aronson on Sunday was running around a lot and not doing anything with it. When normally he hustles and he gets stuck into people, on Sunday he was just running around and doing nothing.
Completely anonymous. You're a passenger.
They were saying that, weren't they? Like when he was in Germany, the back end of the season, he petered out because he ran that much in the first half, and it's like it's happening again. To be fair to him,
He does fine, but when him and Pirro aren't working together, and then you've got the two lads behind him, not performing well, it's just a recipe for disaster. For everything to work, all of them need to put a shift in, and just none of them did. They were all lightweight sponges, weren't they? And Portsmouth took advantage.
Yeah, notice who does the charge down the keeper. It's always Aronson, isn't it?
Yeah.
You notice it's instead of Pirro, hardly. It's always Aronson running around like an idiot, chasing the goalkeeper about.
I'm just looking at. Sorry, Johnny. I thought you'd finished.
No, you're right, mate.
You're sorry, Johnny. He likes to interrupt people. Go on.
I don't do it on purpose. It's because I find it hard to read when people are finished with a bit that they're saying. I'm just looking at SofaScore briefly just to see if there's anything sort of weird on there. They've given Strike a 7.6.
What?
And Melier a 7.5.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's all stat-based, isn't it?
I guess, but that's baffling.
Do you know what I mean? If they make tackles or if they make clearances or this, that and the other, it's a point. It's a green tick in it. When you actually look through the power of sight, it's a completely different story.
True.
Go on, Bryn.
By Melier's mistake, he was fine. I've never seen him catch as many aerial balls on the full without dropping it. I was a stat in the first half when he caught 3 in a row. I thought, Jesus Christ, it might get up to 10 here, and I'll have to get a notepad out. But
tattoo a medley on your leg.
It's even that. It's just clutch moments in it sometimes, and again, overall, like his performance was fine. Again, it is daft to say, but he's someone really that even though he has cost in that game, he's probably one of the standout players, and that's how really bad everyone else was. And it is, and I don't get the Strout 7.6 again. I can't possibly find he's done what he's done to deserve that. But again, it's just incredibly deflating. But at the same time, good thing about the Championship, you can't dwell on it for more than 72 hours because you're back at it, and we're back at it. And the only worry for me is, for the first time in quite a while, come 10 p.m. tomorrow night, we could be playing catch up.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I would just look. I'm gonna go through a couple of these stad comments now. We're knocking on an hour now, so we'll look to close it out in a second. But Skip says, I worry if Burnley and Blaze both win tomorrow and we concede early on Wednesday, then the pressure may begin to show on some players, as a number of them went through the same last season here. It's a fair point. Burnley Burnley are at home against West Brom, which is a difficult game, as we all know, and Sheffield United against Bristol City, who are doing pretty well. They're just outside playoffs, aren't they?
Yeah,
Brizzle.
Yeah,
so that's not going to be an easy game. Sheffield United have got some tough games coming up. They've got Fat Frank's Coventry as well, and so Burnley actually.
They
have got some difficult matches. Didar Derby on Sunday. That'll be Sheffield United. They'll win that.
Let's hope not.
I mean, I know you hope not, but
potential banana skin for
because Wednesday is shite, aren't they? But yeah, I think I don't know. Will the pressure be too much, or will that add a little bit of pressure of them needing to get a result on Wednesday, given the kick that they need?
It wouldn't be surprised if we drew against Millwall on Wednesday and do the most Leeds United thing away and win at a 12:30 game in London against QPR on Saturday. That'd be the most Leeds United thing to happen, and I can see it.
Dangerous fixture is QPR away, and early kickoffs just really are our friends, are they?
No.
We've got Blaze Ray saying, after all this joint on points, what more do we have to do? I think he's on about, obviously, the fact that we're now equal on points with Sheffield United. That's a typical J Star comment, is that one? Because it's
context. Like, what do we have to do? You know what I mean? We've put in so much effort. We've had these great comebacks. We've bloody sweat, blood, and tears, and all this, and we're still level with Sheffield United.
I think the last two games have been like what's the word for it? Like a hangover from the Sheffield United and Sunderland games. I think they put that much into them two games. I think it's just might have done them in the head a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like
I think there's merit in that.
I listened to the phone in on Radio Leeds. I downloaded it today, and there was this bloke came on and he said, "Oh, they look absolutely knackered." Well, they've had 6 days rest since West Brom game. So
I know.
You know what I mean?
You wouldn't have thought
so. They didn't look knackered to me. They just looked. Didn't look up to it.
Didn't they all have a few days off as well? There were like pictures of them all doing stuff, weren't they, in different places?
Monday, Tuesday off after the West Brom game, so they've had 2 days
Yeah.
off.
Hey, there'll be no more of that. There'll be no more of that. Not after these performances.
Jay will be running after him, flogging him out of Thorpe Hatch.
I'll be chasing him in a golf cart with a megaphone.
Go to the shop.
The thing about this is, though, we've gone these many games unbeaten, but this is obviously more down to the champion. You don't see many sides in the second tier that go, you do what Arsenal do and go,
no, you don't.
30 plus games unbeaten.
Never gonna
I know Reading had that blip season where they did, but ultimately these players do not have the elite mentality, and we don't have the elite setup of that. These top division sides that can go, multiple winning games or multiple streaks, and to make it like 20, 30 games plus, and that would have probably got us over the line. But ultimately now, it's in a nice way possible. We'll see who in this current squad has got bottle and the stones to step up, and in a way, sometimes you take a step backwards. Take you 2 steps forwards, and I think the West Brom wasn't harsh enough reality check. Portsmouth away definitely was. So it's do or die Wednesday in terms of it sets a stall up for the rest of the season if we've got the bottle or not. For me, anyway.
Yeah, you're saying about that Reading team. Like, I bet you any money their game won't piss about as much as what I was. We was always on telly. There would have been.
No.
So they won't have had like all the fixtures pushed all over the place. But like. Never bothered watching it, are they?
They'll have been left alone to get on with it for the most part.
Even when we were shit and finishing 15th, we was on telly more times than anybody. Our fixtures got pushed all over the place. So
it's shit for fans, but really, it shouldn't affect the players, though, should it? Let's be honest.
No, it shouldn't really, no, but it's. I don't know.
That's what I don't get about why it took so long for us to get like owners that want to put a bit of money into the club and stuff like that, because we're idiots, us lot. You can literally do anything to us and we'll still keep coming back, spending money, watching games. Do you know what I mean? We'll never not be there.
Well, that's only been since 2017 onwards, though. Before that, we were absolutely
Speak for yourself, mate.
No. Well, you bloody did anyway. I know that for sure. You shit house.
No, I used to go to games. I didn't have a season
I'm not
ticket.
saying you didn't. I'm not saying you didn't. But there's a fucking lot of people that overnight, all of a sudden, we started getting 20,000 more frigging folk in the Chuffing Stadium that obviously had prior commitments prior to 2017 and 2018. But it's
the League One. League One crowds.
They were brilliant. League One and early Championship years were fantastic.
I loved it.
I remember 17,000 against Walsall on the Monday night on Sky. It was the best atmosphere I've been in forever. It was fucking brilliant.
We're not going to fester too much on this because we're starting to get a bit miserable, and I don't want to. It's expected after a shit performance like that, but let's try and pick it up a little bit. Steve Brown says the one frustration for me during the game was Pompey exposing our fullbacks being high up the pitch with the long cross balls. They caused us problems all game. Yeah, I think we've already said that They clearly had a game plan and it worked to a degree. Just that one little piece of that. I mean, to be fair to the lad, he took his shot well, and a calamitous effort from us defensively. But really, they didn't really do all right. A lot to hurt us. They had a lot of ball in our half, but they didn't really do anything with it. So, Loftus Road the last 8. We've won 1, drawn 1, and lost 6. That's comforting.
It's lovely.
Lovely. Maru's hat-trick when we beat them, and told Snaggle 2 for Chibik. Got a couple of assists that game. Remember that game?
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh,
God, that lovely black kit.
I just want to say, go away, Sly 2.0. No one misses Jesse Ball.
I miss Jesse Ball like I miss having a fucking bath with my dad.
You don't miss it though, 'cause you still do it, don't you?
No, certainly don't fucking miss it. You're joking. It's the size of me, mate. They might be able to fit 4 of you in a bath, but I can't get in the frigging thing.
How dare you?
Joking.
How dare you?
Can't speak. Gentlemen, I'm going to bring this to a close because I'm sick and tired of talking about it. It's depressing and I'm just looking forward to Wednesday now. Do you guys have anything else to say on the matter? Or do we just put it to bed and just look forward to the next game?
Probably nothing useful from me, mate.
Nah. Check out on Millwall on Wednesday. Everybody will show up after that.
Kick fuck out of them.
Yeah. Let's give it a big style. Anything else to add, Bryn? Before we let you retire back to your thumb cave?
I see maybe 2 or 3 of you in 48 hours, hopefully after a victory. Quite a stellar
You will, mate.
If not, that's all I'm looking forward to. Because
I'll
first
leave
two
Brown,
minutes
our sorrows.
is all meant to be tremendously good or bad. Then we'll know
yes.
what we're in for.
I'm nervous.
Oh, no, Jay, come on.
You
You'll be fine.
Jay,
Just
you
be
can't be
positive,
anymore.
Jay.
It can't possibly get you down. Like it can't do.
It does though, mate. It does. It affects me.
Mate, how's this club not broken you? You've had 3-0 against Watford, the 2-1-0 playoff finals, bottled it twice under Grayson last season, first season under Bielsa. How has this not broken you yet? And it's just Leeds United. It's what we do.
Have you not seen the amount of? Have you not seen the amount of shit this lot give me? It takes a lot to break me, pal. I'm made of tough stuff.
Going to be an alpha guy like me.
Don't mention his miniature ironing board though. That really upsets him.
No, it's all good.
Thank you to everyone in the comments tonight. I know it's been a bit of a misery cast, but you know it is Leeds United after all, so we can't remain too positive all the time. I think there'll be myself, Luke, and possibly Carl if he's managed to buy any internet. Maybe he'll have to do a Johnny and tap into Sheila's next door or something. Who knows?
It's Carl, mate. I won't bank on it.
I won't bank on it too much. But thank you, gents, for joining me tonight. It's been, I won't say it's been massively enjoyable because we've still lost. But, you know, it's been nice to have a catch-up and nice to have a bit of a collective mourn, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It has, mate. And yes, Steve Brown. Bang on.
Toughest hobbit on you. He's not a hobbit, he's a dwarf. He's a midget with a man bun.
Get out and run that fucking outro.
If you haven't subscribed to us, then please do. If you don't want to, then bugger off and stand on some Lego. We've been the Ought to Know Better podcast. This has been Berardi and Coke. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. We'll see you in a bit.
Bye, buddy.
See you later.